I don't think they do. And with 5 starters out on defense, I don't think they're going to be able to stop Seattle either.
No, and Seattle's gone over in 10 of their last 13, so you might want to look at the total in that game
43.
too. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty cheap price, you know. And look, I think at least you're going to look at least a 23-20, 24-20 game. You're going to be right around that total, leaning toward the over anyway. So I think if you're going to play it, that's probably the way to go. Hey, thanks for giving us a call, Dan. We appreciate it. Guys, we are, of course, here with PickNation.com. This is our baby right here on the wall. You see that PickNation.com. Remember this. You can go right now, and you can get my best bet, Steve's latest crew best bet, the plays of all 13 of the handicappers for free at PickNation.com. No strings attached. And remember, we're 100% online business, guys. There's no 800 numbers. There's no recorded messages. There's no salesman. We don't have phones. It's 100% internet business and no strings attached. And you are getting $500-$600 worth of action for free by taking advantage of the one-day free access pass.
Yeah, and it's not just, it's the best Christmas present you will have gotten because it's not just the $500 that you get in value, but then it's all the money that you win with all the winners. So you got to add that in as well. And, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
I mean, last Sunday was an interesting day, I'll tell you, in the NFL.
Tough day.
It sure was a tough day.
That Giant game, oh, my God. I mean, Al, I turned that – and I never turn a game off. I'm just not that way. But I turned that game off with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Giants were one of my biggest releases of the season. We're up by 21 points. No way to lose that game. I just rolled over and went to bed. I was a little bit tired. I had a big night out Saturday night, and I went to bed, and all of a sudden I get a text from a friend of mine, and I roll over and read it. It says, the Giants suck. What's he talking about? I turned the TV on just in time to see them punt it down the middle of the field for the last score, to lose the game. And Al, in my entire, and to say this means a lot, in my entire 20-year career, both sides of the coin, I've never experienced a loss like that before. I know you had a pretty tough loss that day, too.
Well, I'll tell you what. I thought the backdoor cover of the year was the Tennessee-Indianapolis game on Thursday a couple of weeks ago when the Titans, for no apparent reason other than they lacked the basic math skills.
Or they had money on the game. And they had great math skills. Either they had great math skills or no math skills.
I mean, they score with that touchdown with 1 second to go to get the backdoor cover. I thought that was the ultimate backdoor cover. However, I have 3 more nominees for that prestigious award this year for all of us that lost money on these games. Jacksonville, onside kick, 1:40 to go against Indianapolis. Looks like the Jaguars are going to cover their 7th straight game. I only used them as a free pick in one of my TV appearances. And Indianapolis recovers the onside kick and runs it back for the touchdown that gives them the margin for the cover.
Also maybe betting on the game because 9 times out of 10, you get that ball, you just drop on it. You don't run it back for
First
the touchdown.
thing they teach the hands team, fall on the ball.
Either the guy's got himself in a fantasy league, or he's betting on the game. I don't know what's happening.
Then you have the game between my best bet last Sunday was Dallas and Washington. It was 10-0 before the Redskins even got on the field. 30 points put up right like that by the Cowboys. I am rolling. I'm up 23-7. I'm up, 27-14. And then Rex Grossman.
Out of all people.
Rex Grossman
Who is
beat me? 4 touchdown passes, couple interceptions, but 4 TDs. They come back, tie the game. Cowboys eventually won at 33-30, but of course, they fail to get the cover. But I still think that Giants game, 7.5 minutes to play. Giants are up 31-10 at home. They've got the NFC East title right there in their hands. They've got a first-round bye right there in their hands. And they cough up that game, 28 points in 7.5 minutes. But I think that this is even more depressing than the Tennessee-Indy game, only because of the way you looked at it. When it finally got tied, I'm thinking, okay, we go to overtime. All I need is a field goal. It was only a free pick, but even you had told your clients to go ahead and buy down the half point from 3 to 2.5. All you needed really was a field goal for the Giants, and we've seen in overtime, it's really just the flip of the coin. Generally, whoever gets the ball first, you've got a great chance. They kick a field goal, you're going to get the winning cover. But no, Deshaun Jackson with that punt return, that was agonizing. And that leads me to this game this week with the Giants. How do they possibly get up? I know Eli Manning immediately went ahead and called on Monday a players-only meeting.
Right.
Oh, my God. I remember as a reporter, every time I heard that somebody had a players-only meeting, I used to always kid around. It's like, well, what did they order for food? That doesn't work. It's over. It's like guys nowadays guaranteeing games. It doesn't work. they don't forget the memories of what happened there. It reminds me of the Rex Ryan stunt a couple of weeks ago after that horrifying loss at New England. Buried the ball. I told you right here on the show, guys, you can't bury the memories. You can't bury the feelings. And what happened, they came out the following week flat as a pancake and just failed to show up against Miami. Mentally, physically, they weren't there. Well, here you've got the Giants. How did they possibly show up in Green Bay? I just don't see it.
Yeah, and for Green Bay, I mean, they're coming off a big game as well with New England, didn't get the win, but played very well. And that's the difference. New England, when they have a letdown, they still win. Other teams, when they have a letdown, they lose. Giants here in a prime spot for a letdown. It's a tough call.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to the phones we go. Dave, who is joining us also from Miami. How you doing, Dave?
Got a lot of love for Miami today.
How you guys doing today?
Good.
Really wanted to know about that Tennessee-Kansas City game.
Tennessee, Kansas City. Well, the Titans finally snapped a 6-game losing streak last week against Houston, and it was an impressive win. But let's remember, there was another team coming off a letdown. Short week of rest. Houston at home on that Monday night game comes back, ties it, only to lose it in overtime to Baltimore. So they were a team that was primed to be picked, and I think Tennessee certainly took care of it, although Kerry Collins had a very good game. Chris Johnson, I think, ran for 130 yards. But Kansas City, a team that the week prior, when Matt Castle was out because of the emergency appendectomy, they got shut out at San Diego, but they showed their mettle by going to St. Louis, where the Rams have played tough all year long, and they really controlled the line of scrimmage in that game. Jamal Charles had another big game, I think 120-some yards on the ground. And Castle had another very quiet, very effective game. Hard to believe this guy has 24 touchdown passes, only 5 interceptions, and it's really not hard to believe if you remember how he played a couple years ago again when he was filling in for Brady when he was hurt with the Patriots.
Right. I mean, to me, Castle, with Castle, they're the Chiefs. Without Castle, just a bunch of Indians. And the truth is that Kerry Collins, this guy gets into a movie for about $4. I mean, he isn't the problem, but he certainly is not the solution. I like Kansas City with all their guns. I think the 5 here is an easy pickup.
Yeah, I agree with you, too. It's a funny number. It's kind of a dead number at 5, but I like them, too. And listen, the Chiefs are 6-0 straight up at Arrowhead this season.
Right, and 4-2 against the spread.
Yeah, exactly. So they played good ball. They're playing, and they realize that the division crown is theirs for the taking. And I just don't think a Tennessee team that has been so horrific in the second half of the season and so inconsistent all year long, one win does not turn this Tennessee Titans, the fates and fortunes of this team around. Who do you like in the game?
Well, I kind of liked Kansas City myself, but I was worried about this quarterback, and even though he played pretty well this week, but listening to you two pros, I think I gotta go with Kansas City.
Well, just a little disclaimer. Me and Al talk about every single game on the board here, but we only sell our best bets on the site. Those are the records we quote when you hear us talk about how much we've won over the last 4 years, over the last 4 weeks, or last week or the week before. We're always talking about our best bets, not the bets, not the games that we discuss on the program. But yeah, I think this is a good spot to lay the 5 here with KC.
Okay, Dave, thanks for giving us a call. We appreciate it. Before we go any further, I want to talk about something, teasers. And we've briefly touched on them at different points during the season. A lot of guys out there think teasers, and they immediately think, oh, it's just like parlays. They're sucker bets.
Right.
They're not. Teasers, I'm not a big fan of sweetheart teasers, exotic teasers where you've got to use a lot of teams and a lot of points. I like your traditional 2-team, 6-point teaser where you're laying at $1.20. I like it. And, there are certain games that just beg to be teased. When you're looking at favorites, I think, that are laying between 3 and 9 points, if you like the favorite but you're just not sure, you go ahead and you lay it and you take the points away from them. And then I've cashed in with 2 straight teasers, and I just wanted to talk about teasers for a second and then get your perspective as a guy who was a bookmaker, and you saw guys probably playing foolish teasers, foolish parlays. 2 Thursdays ago, I had San Diego and the over in that Thursday night game against San Francisco because I was so convinced where the total was going to be in that game, but I was a little leery of the side. So I thought, let me take San Diego down. Well, it was an easy win, Chargers in the over.